can try and win championships, and that's what it's all about. When you look from the outside and you watch this team, I know we're going to have a real good, solid hockey team this year.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Fireside Rangers. I'm your host, Anthony Rivardo, joined in person by my co-host, Eric Wilson. And today we're going to be going over the 2022 to 2023 season predictions and rankings for the NHL, and exclusively speaking about the New York Rangers, of course. That's our squad here to provide you with all of the updates regarding the New York Rangers all offseason long right here on Fireside Rangers. But before we dive into today's exciting topic, Eric, how are you doing today?
Dude, it's good. We're here. You know, we've been together for a couple of days, but we kept forgetting to record. But we're back. We're better than ever, and I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah, we've been a little too partying a little too hard here, a little too distracted in this frat house that we live in, but we're ready to talk some Rangers and have a real good time and go over Eric's projections for this upcoming season. Coming in at number 8, he has Philadelphia. Eric, what's your purpose of your thinking behind having the Philadelphia Flyers at the bottom of the division?
Well, the Flyers were pretty atrocious last season. And I don't think they've improved whatsoever. They have a bunch of young guys who aren't that good, and they brought in John Tortorella as their new head coach, and everyone knows that he's infamous for being pretty bad with young players. He yells at them, expects too much from them, and does not let them develop properly. So zero improvement from the Flyers, and I think it's pretty safe to say that they're going to stay pretty close to the bottom of the league this year.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And ahead of the Flyers, we've got the New York Islanders, Long Island Islanders, as some like to call them. Of course, we're from Long Island, but we do not root for the Islanders. We root for the superior New York team, the Rangers, of course. But Eric, Islanders at number 7. What are your thoughts on them entering this season?
So I don't like the Islanders. They're like my least favorite team in the league. But still, I could see them at 7 changing in my ranking very soon. Currently, they are very close to signing Nazem Kadri to a deal. We've talked about him on the channel in the past. He's a great player who we really wanted on the Rangers. So just throwing in a 100-point player on that team who does have a lot of young talent and a great goaltender, I could see them maybe making a push for a wild card spot if Kadri plays up to their expectations, assuming they do sign him. But for now, with the current team that they have, I do have to put the Islanders at 7. I feel like the other teams in our division have improved so much more or have already been good. So I just can't put them any higher.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we're going to go to another team in the tri-state area, the New Jersey Devils at number 6. Eric, I know this is another team that you are not too fond of, and neither am I. But what are your thoughts on the New Jersey Devils entering this 2022 to 23 season?
I'm not sure if this is a controversial ranking or not, putting the Devils there, because the Devils, I think within the next 3 or 4 years, will be one of the best teams in the NHL. They've gotten a top 3 pick 4 out of the last 6 years or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but it's a crazy number. So once these players that they have develop and they're proper NHL players, they're going to be a powerhouse. But I don't think they're just there yet. They got Jack Hughes, they got Nico Hischier, but I don't think they're there yet. Give them 2 more years and maybe they'll be competing with us for the top spot.
Yeah, young team, lots of potential, but I don't think that potential is getting realized just yet. Of course, we've seen something similar like that with the Rangers last year. The emergence of the kid line helped propel the Rangers deep into the playoffs. It's always possible to see another team in this division have a bunch of young players step up to the plate and have a super successful season, but the likelihood, it wasn't very likely that happened to the Rangers. It just luckily did happen, but that's not something you bank on happening to a new team every single year. So we'll move on to number 5, the Pittsburgh Penguins. Eric, what are you thinking about the Penguins entering this season?
It's hard to rank them. There was a lot of talk that they weren't going to be able to keep Malkin. They weren't going to be able to keep Letang, but somehow they pulled it off. And their big 3 of Letang, Malkin, and Crosby are going to keep playing for Pittsburgh for the next couple of years. The question is, is it worth it for them? They're all getting pretty old. I don't know. They might really exceed expectations and be really good this year. They could just flop and be at the bottom. But, currently I got to put them around halfway. I'm not sure what to expect from them right now. They also do have a lot of young talent, but they do lack a little bit in the goaltending aspects, in my opinion. But yeah, can't really put them any higher or any lower.
Yeah, and of course, Geno Malkin is somebody that the Rangers were interested in signing. And I know a lot of Rangers fans and viewers of this channel were interested in Malkin as well as we were approaching the beginning of the free agency period this offseason. Of course, last minute, he re signed with Pittsburgh on a huge deal that the Rangers probably are happy they didn't sign him to. So at the end of the day, I think with Malkin being the little bit of a crybaby that he is and being an aging veteran in the NHL, I think the Rangers are better off going in the direction that they went, which we'll discuss when we get to them on the rankings. I'm sure you all can guess where we might have them placed. But number 4, let's talk about the Blue Jackets. Eric, what are your thoughts on them?
2 words for you, Johnny Hockey. They came out and they somehow signed Johnny Gaudreau. I don't know why he chose out of every team that gave him contracts to play in Columbus, Ohio, but he did. And I think it's a really big difference maker. You're going to have Patrick Laine and Johnny Gaudreau playing on the same team, and I think that's a very good duo that's going to impress a lot of people this upcoming season. Having them at 4th in the Metro, I think is a little controversial, might be a little bit of a hot take right there, but I think they can do it. They got a lot of talent on that team, and I could see them coming into the playoffs as that number 2 wild card spot.
For sure. And let's move on into the top 3 in the Metro. Number 3, the Capitals. Eric, what are you thinking?
The Capitals are good. The Capitals have always been good. They're going to keep being good. Alex Ovechkin is making a grand race to hit 1,000 career goals, and I do think he is going to hit it. He's got that drive, and he's old now, but he hasn't let up any steam. Then, you got Kuznetsov, you got Backstrom, you've got a bunch of stars on the team, and they've got a great goaltending, great defense with John Carlson leading that. And I definitely think they're going to make the playoffs, probably have that divisional spot at number 3. I don't think there's any questioning that.
Yep, and to the bottom 2, Eric, on your rankings, number 2, the reigning champs, the Hurricanes. Number 1, the New York Rangers. Might as well just reveal that because you could all figure out what it is if we said who was in number 2. But Eric, what is your thought process behind ranking the Rangers above the Hurricanes entering the season, and why Hurricanes at number 2?
I think last season the Hurricanes were definitely a lot better than the Rangers were. However, Carolina had a lot of pieces that have recently left. Biggest one for us is obviously Vinny Trocheck, but Carolina did lose a lot of other players. So I don't know if they'll be able to maintain that offensive power that they have going for them. I think it could be 50-50 if it's the Hurricanes or the Rangers winning the Metro. But, just the fact that Carolina has lost so much offensive star power this offseason, and that I'm biased, I have to put them at number 2.
Yeah, the bias definitely helps. But of course, talking about the New York Rangers at number 1, why we think they are going to win the Metro. I mean, I think the roster improved. The addition of Vincent Trocheck on the second line, I think, is going to be instrumental to the success of the Rangers this year. I think Alexis Lafreniere moving up to the first line to play some right wing, that should allow him to propel his way into a career year with the Rangers this year. I think Capo Caco is in line to improve significantly as well. The Rangers decided not to move on from him, gave him that 2-year bridge deal that we were all hoping for, and I think that he is in line for a really good year. Of course, the Rangers also have some really solid prospects right now who could potentially surprise, move their way up into the lineup, and on that back end, on those bottom lines, I think the Rangers have some pretty solid depth. I think Vitaly Kravtsov is a guy to keep an eye on. He could be a really solid contributor to the Rangers lineup this year. But overall, we know who the stars are. Igor Shesterkin, Jacob Trouba, Artemi Panarin. I think there's another really exciting year in store for the New York Rangers. And Eric, I know you agree with me.
Yeah, man. I mean, like you said, I think it really boils down to the kids. If my predictions become a reality, Lafreniere needs to provide on the first line. Kako needs to play really well. And then, you mentioned our prospects, there's the tournament going on. Brennan Othmann is playing insane in that tournament. He has 4 points in 2 games playing against some of the greatest prospects in the world. So it really boils down to that. I think there is still some work that needs to be done. We might need to, at the trade deadline, pick up maybe some new fourth liner, some new depth just to really build this up for a playoff run. But I definitely see a realistic possibility that the Rangers can win the division, win the first round, win the second round, make it to the conference finals, and then make it to the cup. Will they hoist the cup? I'm not sure. I know I hope so. The West has a lot of powerhouse teams. I can easily see Colorado going back to back. There's a bunch of teams out there who are going to be really good. But I personally think that we can do it.
I do too. And I want to touch on Brennan Othmann again for a second because I think he's been a super impressive prospect for the Rangers. I know we discussed him in a video recently a couple weeks ago talking about what his potential could be. Could he move into the lineup this year? Just kind of touch on that topic again, Eric, seeing the way that he's been playing recently. Do you think that he can make his way onto that fourth or third line?
I definitely think he can. I mean, it really just comes down to management, but you know that they're watching this tournament that's going on. They're watching Othmann play insane. And if they think that he's better than some of these fourth liners that we've just recently signed, then yeah, let him play during preseason. If he plays really well, then I think that'll be like the final deciding factor if he cracks the lineup or not.
Absolutely, and we'll keep you posted on all of the preseason coverage and everything going on with the Rangers as we head into training camp, the preseason, and of course in October, the regular season right here on Fireside Rangers. So make sure to subscribe if you're new. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Comment down below what are your projections for the Metro in the upcoming 2022-23 season. Let us know what you want us to discuss next, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a good one, and let's go
Rangers!
He shoots!